are, and you know what you did, and I will never forgive you. But for everyone else, I hope you had a good lunch and welcome back. We're back on the CitizenCon show floor here to do our last little bit of the community booths. It has been a phenomenal 2 days, and we cannot thank enough everyone who has been here to give us the love and support as you guys have been watching the show. Whether you guys have been here on the community booth floor, whether you guys have been in the theater, it's been nothing but amazing smiles on faces, and that's what we love to see here at CIG. And so we're gonna go over to a place that makes everybody smile, Soul Citizen. Now this is a group that is all about diversity and inclusion in Star Citizen. You know, gamers, maybe not the most polite people sometimes. So we wanna have an org where diversity and inclusion is forefront in their mission statement, and no one does it better than Soul Citizen. These guys are phenomenal. We got my man Griff here. Griff, how is it going?
Doing good. How are you, man? Doing good.
Awesome, man. It's so good to see you guys. You know, what's been your experience having Soul Citizen be this huge org that is a safe space for gamers of all colors, genders, sexualities, orientations? What's been your guys' experience being that safe space for them?
Well, first off, we're not an org because people want us to be an org. What we are is a group of gamers who back and support the game, but particularly of diversity. When Fast Cart and I first got this going, we talked about being able to bring African American, because we would go to the conventions and see 5 of us out of 600, but we knew we were out there. But ultimately we decided to expand diversity into not only just being African American, but LGBTQ, straight, age. I'm 60. We have 20-year-olds in our group, male, female, and everybody pretty much has a different feeling about the game and very supportive of the project.
Fantastic. So even Jared Huckabee could play this game, is what I'm hearing. It's, you guys are going for like the elder statesman, so that's fantastic to hear. What giveaways are you guys doing? I hear you guys are doing a really cool giveaway at the top of every hour. Is that correct?
At the top of every hour, if anyone comes to our table, if they're the first one to come here and they say what our table number is, one of our partners or our friends are the folks with Star Jump Station with Grim, Ender, and Starlet. They couldn't be here, but they donated these posters of their work of the Fleet Viewer. And so we have signed this for everyone, for all the members here have signed it. And if you come here at the top of the hour, if you're the first one, we will give you one of these signed posters, specifically from Star Jump Station, because we love them. They're a great group, and they've contributed so much to the community.
That is awesome. Thank you guys so much. Soul Citizen, come check them out. Again, a safe space for gamers of any race, creed, nationality. You guys will find a home here. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna move on now to Quantum. These guys are all about the medical gameplay loop. These guys are, oh my goodness. I almost needed them for a second. That was disastrous. How's it going, guys? You guys are the forefront org designed to help with medical gameplay wherever gamers may be in need. You guys actually have a really interesting Discord tool for anyone, even if they're not in your server, if they're not in your group, to get your services. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the Abe's bot that we designed is to be in other people's Discords. One quick, easy command will actually send the ping to our Discord as well as all of our partners through the Alliance Initiative Beacon System Bot, or Abe's for short.
And say that one more time, just so everyone's clear. What is the name of that bot?
The Alliance Initiative Beacon System.
The Apes bot. I love that, where you can go ape for the Apes bot. So what can we expect to see from Quantum in the future? What do you guys have next on the horizon as your guys' org is expanding ever greatly?
So every time we get any type of information, we always try to think about how it's going to affect us. Yesterday, we saw the fires on the ships and everything, and we already started talking about a fire rescue unit.
Firefighters in space is the coolest thing I think I can think of. Thank you guys, Quantum. You guys rock. Everyone here has been phenomenal so far, and we are going to end our last community booth segment for the day with Imperium. Now, when I say these guys have an amazing set piece that has wowed everyone at CIG, I mean it. Let's take a look at this amazing Bengal carrier. Like, guys, this is phenomenal. Let's see if we can get a good shot of that. Make sure we get a great shot of how detailed that Bengal carrier is. It is sleek, it is sexy. God, I just want it for myself. So, man, that is just so cool. So with me are some Imperium guys. What's up, guys? So, you know, let's say a young, charismatic host named Schman, for example, wanted to steal that Bengal carrier. Where exactly is it going?
Well, if you live in LA, it's actually going to be staying right in here. It's going to be down to the Santa Monica office, so it's going to be present inside their studio. If you go check it out after CitizenCon, It's going to be there in perpetuity.
Yes, suck it, Austin. LA wins, finally. So what has your guys' CitizenCon experience been so far? How have you guys been repping Imperium here on the show floor?
Well, I mean, obviously, very well is the answer. So it's been fantastic, man, having everyone here. This is about half of the people we've had present. So it's been a fantastic showing from our organization. It's been a labor of love putting this together, being present, answering questions. It's been great to see everybody coming around, showing support. It's been fantastic. So thank you.
Yeah, we've been seeing you guys build this throughout the past 2 days, and to see it finished finally, for those of you at home, there are no easy words to say how cool this thing's look. The level of detail here is immaculate. So thank you guys at Imperium. I know that everyone at the LA office is going to appreciate this so much. All right, we're going to toss it back to Jared momentarily. Thank you guys again so much for checking out the community booths. We'll see you guys back here again. In the meantime, stay safe and see you in the verse.
Oh. Alt what?
Function F4.
Function F4? There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm at the Pyro Playground. I said, hey, at some point during the 2-day event, I want to get out from behind backstage and, come see what the thing's all about. So I'm here in Pyro. Why don't you come around here and see? I am, of course, an expert Star Citizen player. Come on over here. You see what I'm doing? I am attempting to open a door right now. How do I open the door, Daniel? It's not this door? That's not the door? Also, you're not Daniel, are you? You're Adam. All right, so we are here. What station is this, Adam? No, remember.
Checkmate.
No, put the mic in.
Oh, this is Checkmate.
This is Checkmate. This is Checkmate Station. So this is where the demo starts. And what do we do when we're here at the demo?
This is where your habs are. So, yeah, you can't go back in.
Okay.
You want to go straight. You want to follow the exit signs. So left. And those are your elevators.
Are these ones going to kill me?
No, these should not be the death elevators.
Not even in Pyro?
No guarantees on that.
I want you to go on record. Look at that camera and say the elevators in Pyro won't kill you.
I'm gonna say no guarantees that the elevators on Pyro won't kill you.
All right, so we take the elevator, and where do we go next?
You're gonna go to the entrance.
All right. Push the button. Look at this guy.
So one of the other players will do it for you.
There we go. So, no, show the screen. Show them Pyro. Let them see Pyro. People are tired of seeing my dumb face. There we are. So where am I going now, Adam?
You want to make a left?
This way?
No, you went too far. You gotta follow the exit signs.
I don't see anything.
There you go.
All this environmental storytelling.
Yeah, this is the experience that you just walked through.
All right, up here?
Yep.
And another elevator. All right. So what does this say here? Do you know?
I can't read. I know that's rough and ready for the top part.
All right, yeah. So Rough and Ready are the gang that runs the Checkmate
Correct.
Station. All right. Well, everybody, I am not going to subject you to my first time here in Pyro for any longer. We're going to throw it to the first of our two-part environmental presentations, starting with Living on the Edge. So take it away, everybody, and I don't know, watch it. It's good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Colin Chuckett. I'm the lead level designer for the PU. I will give you an introduction to our locations when it comes to the design, a high-level overview of the design of our locations. I'm going to describe you the processes of our workflow and the goals that we aim to achieve. So, to break down our process a bit, this is very high level, but it starts out with a pre-production phase, an ideation phase. Here everything starts out in the mind. We bring it down to paper, sketch, write, formulate a plan based on our overall design goals. And then it moves on to the blocking stage. You might have heard of this, like the white box and gray box phase. This essentially contains all of the gameplay that you would see in the final product. Basically, the way it's meant to be played, and we test this out with a lot of iteration and, yeah, a lot of testing. And it's basically, the white box is not in a stage where it's presentable, but that comes now. So on the right, as you see, the food court that Adam is going to be showing you later. Yeah, this is the final product, VFX, lighting, everybody had their pass on this. And level design or other designers still maintains the space and makes sure that the systems that get created are being retroactively implemented. All right, so one key aspect of game development in general is the balance of narrative, visuals, and gameplay. So all these interplay, they interconnect, and it's the foundation that runs through all game environments. So it's important to communicate context. And here in this draw over, you see that narratively, we see sort of a dangerous environment. The spiky shapes here are sort of threatening. We see defensive structures. We can expect some enemy NPCs here, but it's also an old village. Maybe there's some exploration, some loot to be found. And then what's also important is communicating goals. So goals can be the pathways that you take, the gateways that bring you from one step to another, and so on. Okay, whoops. Yep, there we go. Okay, since we're a sandbox game, accommodating playstyles is pretty important. So playstyles meaning going guns and blazing, shooting at everything and everybody, going more of a stealthy, infiltration-y pathway if you wanted to, but also all the social aspects that you know from Stanton. And to do this, we established, so one of the core design philosophies is granting the player the freedom of choice to do what they want to do at any point throughout their experience. And we do this by establishing or defining multiple pathways or archetypes that we call primary, secondary, and tertiary pathing. So the first one is pretty straightforward. In a social setting, you have the goal right in front of you, and it's a single goal, such as here in the Habs. In a combat setting, this is very exposed, so it's dangerous to traverse this route. Where it gets more complex is when you have, such as with this outpost here, when you have multiple goals that can be equally important to the player at any given point. This is where we need to have a bit more design put into it with, for example, the landmarks that serve as orientation points. So to help you orientate yourself wherever you are in this location. And leading you to these locations by utilizing shape language and composition. The second path is, these are secondary pathways, so these are alternative routes. And these are options that are offered to you as you traverse the area on the primary path, for example. And so you may know this as a tourist when you go to a new city and you look around the corner and you see an alleyway that sort of looks nice and it evokes your curiosity and you want to investigate. In a combat setting, these are covered approaches or opportunities for you to flank the enemy to get to your goal, which could be this building on that sketch. Yeah. Versus more open spaces, when you have, in a combat setting, in open spaces, you tend to be a bit more stationary because you want to feel more secure, unless you're in a vehicle. The third path is tertiary pathing. So these are more hidden infiltration routes, especially discoverable throughout the rundown stations that Adam will be presenting later on. And these are mostly discoverable to the attentive eye. You can explore these, find loot, or different routes to traverse through the station. Environment interactivity. You might have seen this in a previous presentation. It's very important to ground the player to their environment, offering them ways of interaction, being able to change the state of rooms, to toy with the AI, or just simply being able to unblock your pathway. Where it gets a bit more complex is when you talk about resource network systems, such as in day one when Torsten mentioned that we are planning to implement this as well in locations. And this will allow the player to engage with their environment in different ways. They will be able to power up or down entities such as turrets, gates, and doors, and also alter life support systems, and also this ties into security systems. So being able to power up or down certain sections of a security system. And security systems in turn will be dependent on security tokens that you will be able to grab from other NPCs in your environment to then gain access to other terminals, to security terminals or other areas. Reputation is a big topic for us, especially with Pyro. So reputation, what does it mean? It means that it's basically your relationship with factions, and factions are the UEE in Stanton, or outlaw gangs, especially now in Pyro. And this will define your play style within this environment. So it will define how you experience the location that you're in a more social context or in a more combative context. So we talk about reputation gates as well, especially in the later presentations. So in the case of the food court, in the rundown station, we have multiple floors. So the first floor is the gang floor, and that might require you to have a better relationship with the owner of this location, which then will give you unique mission givers that you can go to and accept a mission that are offering you missions themed after the faction or the owner of this location, but also give you access to unique gear, collectibles, ship weapons, and items. You might have seen these locations in the demo if you've played it. So to close this all off and move on to the other presentations, the glue behind all of our locations is the content. It is the reason why you go to these locations in the first place, and our main goal right now is to not have that divide between social and gameplay as much as we do in Stanton, but mix it up a little and make that dependent on the reputation that you have with the factions or the owners of these locations. And yeah, we're looking into more content. As you've seen listed there, there's a bunch of new stuff coming as well. With the later presentations, for example, with the logistics hubs in the second portion, we're also looking into rates. But yeah, that's it for me. I will pass it over to Eddie now. Hope you've enjoyed this. Take care. Bye.
Hi, everybody. So, I'm Eddie. I'm an assistant art director on StarCitizen for locations. Before we start, I'd like to mention that all of the footage we're about to see comes from our current stable builds. So all of that beautiful tech, all of those features that we've seen in the last 2 days is coming from our tech development builds. Now, all those features are going to make their way to you, of course, eventually. But that is the reason you're not going to see some of them in the builds today. I just wanted to get ahead of the comments a little bit there. So with that said, what am I going to be talking about? Well, I'm really excited to show you that the hard work that the Sandbox One team have been doing to expand our new Outpost locations. I'm going to start by going over how we've expanded the library and what that means we can now achieve with the new locations, and then how we achieve that variety from the library by categorizing our locations into both archetypes and themes, and what that means for you as a player. So, I don't know if you remember this, but at CitizenCon in 2021, we showed this new style of Outpost for the first time. Now, at this point, we had our art style locked in. We'd worked on our library of content to the point where we could make smaller locations like this one, but with a limited amount of variety between each one. And this is what that library of modules looked like at that point. We'd established our main building modules, as well as some of our larger buildings and a number of smaller secondary and dressing and standalone modules. But each outpost couldn't be too large without there being some obvious repetition between the modules used. So let's have a look at that library today. So, in order to achieve that greater visual and design delta between each outpost and have them not feel like exact clones of one another, we've massively expanded our module library in terms of breadth and depth. And what I mean that, we go broad by making more modules with different purposes, and we go deep by creating multiple thematic overlays for each of those modules as well. And I'll go into that I'll go into what that means a little bit in a minute. But the challenge of a sandbox location like this, as you can see, it's not about building a single unique location. That can be quite straightforward, to be fair. It's about giving our artists and designers the building blocks, the affordance to build multiple locations that all feel somewhat different, even if they do share that same basic DNA. So it's about creating both the ingredients at the same time as the recipes, and making sure all of those flavors work in harmony with one another for both visuals and gameplay. So every individual part has to take into consideration all of those design philosophies. So every single module has to take into consideration those design philosophies that Khan mentioned. But we also have to make sure that they work with those same principles when an artist or a designer combines them into any one of a number of different layouts. So the more ingredients we have to work with, the more recipes we can create. But with that complexity comes the challenge of keeping everything harmonious. So we like to think we've done a pretty good job with that. But that's me. Using this expanded library, we've been able to increase the individual location size because there's less of that obvious repetition between buildings within any single location. And we can't really call some of these large locations outposts anymore. They become something more like settlements and imply a larger and more established community. Now, as a player, it will mean a lot more to explore and do at any single individual location, with a localized and personal feeling mission types that might see you moving around a single settlement to complete objectives, or doing short hop missions between clusters of settlements on a single planet. So you might head up to a ridge to repair some wind turbines. You could counter an outlaw attack from a neighboring outpost, or on the opposite side, you might be stealing or destroying vehicles for the criminal gang that you're working for. But in the art department, we always say, show, don't tell. So let's stop looking at slides and let's have a look at some of the locations in game. Thank you. So what flavors of Outpost did we just see there? Well, we categorize them in two different ways, as I said, and then we mix and match those categories together to provide that variation. Now, the first and primary category is the archetype, and they provide that core gameplay hook and define the main function of a settlement. So scrapyards have a landing pit module for repairs and refueling. Mining operations can have a refinery module and ore extractors for resource and commodity trading. And trading posts themselves allow a broader range of item purchases through the dedicated trade building module. And I mentioned earlier some more like general mission types that you might find that would be agnostic of archetype. And the archetypes themselves reflect that primary gameplay function of a settlement, but there's also a middle layer. Of course, we don't want these locations to just be a glorified shop or repair station. So there's to be more secondary activities to do locally to an outpost that are also defined by its archetype. So you may find scrapyards can offer salvage-related gameplay and missions. Trading posts can also offer delivery missions or hauling and cargo gameplay. And farms can offer crops and fauna as resources for gathering or trading. So with archetypes as our primary category, in addition, we mix in a secondary category, and these are the thematic overlays. Now, at the moment, we have two main themes. Internally, we call these independent and outlaw. So themes offer additional variation on top of the archetypes to inform the look and feel of a location, not just visually, but which people you'll interact with there, how they'll respond to you based on your rep, what types of missions you'll have available to take on. So themes don't change the fundamental architecture of a space or the archetype of a location, but they do drastically alter the mood and feel, as well as altering the gameplay experience significantly. And again, let's take a look at the first of our themes, our independent theme. Cool. Thank you. So, as a neutral player, the independent theme presents a much more social, visual, and gameplay experience. The primary visual read across both themes, so across both Outlaw and Independent, comes from those common architectural forms, and they're generally all more rounded and soft in shape, and the building manufacture techniques are more robust and primitive, with single-story dwellings built from stucco and bare metal. But for this theme specifically, we use soft textiles, warm lighting and color palettes, foliage, decoration that layer on top of those utilitarian structures to give that sense of home. And I use the word home for our independent theme quite a lot because we really want to get that feeling that this is home for the people that live there despite those harsh realities of frontier life. And in contrast to that, we have a theme that lies in a direct opposition to the independence, which we call the Outlaw theme. So let's take a look at that now as well. So the Outlaw theme tells that story of these once functional settlements being completely overrun by the various criminal elements that inhabit the system. And visually, we have themes of a regressed and subverted civilization. So we layer on top of the architecture these spiked and aggressive forms, and we have evidence of a squalid living arrangements, and lighting comes from fires or poorly maintained fixtures. Some spaces are going to be recognizable as deformed versions of the independent theme, but some have been completely changed to more nefarious purposes. And while both themes employ all of the various alternative pathing and traversal considerations that Khan detailed just earlier, the outlaw spaces are weighted more towards combat. But just because these spaces are more dangerous and the experience can be more combative, that doesn't mean that the archetype of the outpost is lost. So if you as a player choose to be a criminal working up your rep with a headhunter gang, you'd be welcome at the trading posts and you'd be able to buy and sell items or take on missions. But you probably won't then be very welcome at the independent themed locations, and that's where you'd get your combat experiences. So while the outlaw theme looks very different, the functionality of those archetypes still remain. So I've talked about the kinds of outposts we've been hard at work on, and I hope you've enjoyed checking them out over the last 2 days in the Pyro demo. It's really made me very pleased to see people playing our content at last, so thank you for that. But where are we heading from here? Well, I hope it should be obvious that we're going to get these out for the first Pyro release. We still have some final optimization and polish passes to do across the whole library. We're also going to be expanding the amount of these locations throughout Pyro and beyond, and our tools allow us to do that very quickly now. And we've got the library as well to do it. And the new outposts are not limited to the Pyro system. They're completely system agnostic, so you can expect to see these outposts in other systems as well. And of course, we're going to look to add more ingredients, more of those modules to the library as well, to further expand the variety and depth you'll be able to see at these new locations. We want to encourage more on-foot gameplay within a small ecosystem of a planet to give that more localized and personal feeling experience. Our goal with these locations, as with many of the others we're going to hear about today, is to continue to work on the gameplay so that every location offers a rich playground to explore. And I guess I'd like to finish just by thanking everyone for listening today. It's really great to see you all. And I'm going to pass you over to Nick, who's going to talk about some locations that are coming in the nearer future. Thank you.
Bonjour tout le monde. Yoo! We have French Canadian on the here. Cool. All right, guys. My name is Nicolas Pinchot. I'm from Montreal. I'm assistant art director, and I'm here today to show you the next new derelict settlement we did. But just before that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who worked on that mandate. You guys made an awesome work. I'm super happy and proud to be here today to show you that, all of you guys and to the world. So let's go to the chase and let me present you the new derelict settlement. Pretty cool, guys, eh? Oh, by the way, we made more than 4. It's not just 4. We made more than that. So we split those settlements into categories, social and hostile. In the social one, we will have drop-off mission, shops, food, loots, and drinks. And hostile one, obviously, will be more focused combat. Let me show you what it looks like. I like the end. The end's awesome. All right, in summary, guys, we're going to have a lot of new location on planets, links with nice mission and good gameplay. And the most important, all those locations will be in Q4 this year, available in the game. So thank you very much. I will let now Adam to show you more good stuff. Thank you.
Well done, mate. Yeah. Hi, everyone. All right. So, welcome to Rust Stop Stations. I'm Adam Sanders, lead environment artist for EUL1. We're excited today to show you our efforts for the Pyro rest stop stations. So, what are Pyro rest stop stations? Well, these are stations reinvented. These have new themes, archetypes, and gameplay to support new and interesting experiences. Aside from the social aspects, there is gameplay and exploration on the location. I've hoped you had a chance to play the demo over the past couple of days. I know I've spoken to a few of you. It's pretty good, right? Yeah? It was a sneak peek of our current progress. Let's kick off with an overview of the Pyro system. For the Pyro system release, we plan on 6 planets and 26 stations, including jump point stations that connect for Stanton and future systems such as Magnus. Rest stop stations are either in rundown or abandoned states. Citizens of Pyro, the rough and ready outlaws, and Xeno threat may control these. Our focus today on the rough and ready-owned Pyrotech Amalgamated Fuel and Resource Station, Planet 2, Lagrange Point 4, otherwise known as Checkmate Station. So to create a richer experience from rundown stations, we have 3 key points. So increased reputation gives you access to new areas, unique gear, and mission givers. It also relates to basic functions such as the hub clinics, which need at least a neutral standing with their owners. Combat can take place anywhere, including social areas. Numerous options for environment traversal and enhanced environmental interactions. We aim to include new substation areas such as the workers area, lower deck, and maintenance areas. These areas will offer unique content, more environment interactivity, and interconnection between areas. Our journey begins when the player arrives in the entry deck view room. The entry deck serves as the first barrier between the outside world and the interior of the station. Some inhabitants are prevented from going inside and are stuck here with no means of getting out. Slums are formed beneath the bridge, smuggling routes established. Some shopkeepers will sell you water and food on your way into and out of the station. Let's have a look. Khan touched on reputation earlier. Let's see how that is applied to the stations. So how does the reputation gate in the entry deck affect gameplay? What happens if we have good reputation? So if you had good reputation, you could go straight through. This is no fuss, and it's the quickest way to maneuver through the station. However, you've got to put the time and the effort in to get to this point. What happens if you neutral reputation? So you might be waved through, maybe you have to pay a bribe, and you don't want to pay, so you're going to have to find an alternate pathing. Or you're going to have to build up your reputation. If you have bad reputation, and for all you naughty ones out there, I know some of you exist, this applies to you. In short, you're going to have a tough time, but you have options. So stealth via other pathways might be one of those options. You build your reputation up from scratch, or you could probably fight. Let's focus on those alternate pathways. The modules in the station are broken up into several traversal areas. As with the other location archetypes, we define these spaces as secondary or tertiary routes, as opposed to the more official primary paths. Most modules are interconnected with vents and maintenance shafts. These reward the players with infiltration and exploration paths, as well as potential loot. So what alternative routes exist to access the station? We'll offer the opportunity to access the station through multiple EVA points on the exterior. It gives you the choice on how to tackle missions and reputation issues. These alternative entries allow the player to circumvent the ATC loop completely, useful for when your reputation with the owners would normally prevent you from going through more official ways. These serve as spaces that provide content aligned or against the owners of the station. The maintenance hatch access points are a new common sub-location to the stations. The stations are planned to house maintenance areas that increase the interconnection between all the different sub-areas of the station. They act as alternative pathways the player can take to traverse from the entrance area to the Galleria, for example. Now let's have a look at our main social space. The market. A central location for the controlling faction, it houses all their nefarious activities. You can participate in their endeavors if you have the right rep. Let's have a look at some of those key features. Thank you. So the market is a social hub and a good example of mixing social and gameplay space, as mentioned by Khan earlier. Another reputation gate can be found in the market. The ground floor is open to the common public. The upper floor is reserved to rough and ready outlaws and their associates. If you have increased reputation, you can access this area, which gives you access to premium items, top-tier mission givers, and access to new areas. We plan to house mission givers in both tiers that will give you unique jobs to further your reputation and fame across Pyro. Now let's have a look at another theme. Abandoned is a new, non-social location theme. Let's have a quick look at the current abandoned area on Checkmate. Thank you. So we have entire abandoned stations as separate locations. On top of that, there are abandoned areas within the rundown stations. much like the ones you probably see in the demo. There will be around 15 of these around the Pyro system. These are accessible through airlocks and breaches or other means. We aim to enhance all the space locations with a lot more gameplay content. Loot runs, exploration, creatures, missions of various types with PvE and PvP content, just to name a few. We're also laying a focus on environment interactivity with potential retrofitting of occupied stations. With the future addition of security systems and the resource network system, we will have the means to further improve the experience within these spaces and offer new challenges. With power, life support, and gravity playing a key role to give the player a unique experience, especially in abandoned stations. So, what do Pyro rest stop stations bring to the game? So lots more variety in space stations, with more gameplay opportunities within a station location. Opportunities for exploration, hidden areas, multiple options for access or traversal. These are faction-owned, and reputation will affect the location and gameplay. These feature lots of new mission opportunities within social space and multiplayer opportunities for combat on location. So I hope you have enjoyed this sample of what stations will offer and had a chance to have a go on the demo the past couple of days. That concludes the Living on Edge presentation. Thank you for your time.
Hey, everybody. We are almost to the end of CitizenCon 2953. Can you believe it? 2 days? Pyro? Starcloth? Star Hair? Star Citizen? All right, we've still got one more presentation to go, but I have a couple announcements I have to make. This was just handed to me by the facilities team, so bear with me. Astropub, you're gonna need to redo your lore video on the history of the Zeus. Geo, you need to get some money. Authy, I need to be invited to the next ladies' night. Burks, this just says get good. Is he even here? Fastcart, slow down. Gabby, just thanks for my bracelet. And Salty Mike, don't forget to pick up your check on the way out. You know, that joke is so old, we would never, ever pay him. All right. So the only real announcement I have is that Hall B is closing at 4 o'clock. So that's approximately 15 minutes. So if you wanted to get merch or anything else, you wanted to peek at one last community booth, you've only got about 15 minutes left to do that before we close Hall B. In Hall B, the last 2 days, we've had our good friends at Atmo Esports. We're running their fight and flight competition. So I would like to invite 2 of the members of Atmo Esports, their founders, their creators, the big cheeses at the top, Crucian and Corsair. Come on up, man. You got 90 seconds to tell people about who you are, what you're about, and how the event went.
I'm Corsair, and this is Crucian, and we're from Atmo Esports. And we've just run Fight or Flight, the first live tournament experience here at CitizenCon 2953. We'd love to thank the staff and competitors. Who are the competitors? What are you doing?
Yeah. Is that what that big group is?
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, just get them up.
Yeah, come on up, guys.
Come on up. Well, I just want to give a big thank you to the competitors who made this tournament happen. We have Lizzie B, Avenger 1, Verity, Cobra, Herbadiza. We got Sin, Astropub, G.I. Jew. We have Comet 15, Bognagus, Ms. Gabs, Schwang, Zero State, New Cabbage, Detox, and the Floor Mat. These guys have gone through adversity throughout this tournament, and they've done a fantastic job. So I just want to say thank you to the community who keeps supporting what we're doing. We'll love to be back in the future. And this community is the best community in the world. Thank you.
Take a bow, players. And of course, if you were here watching this, you can check out the stream, the Hulk event, up on their Twitch channel, I presume. Yep. I should have checked beforehand. Thank you very much, everybody. Watch your step on the way down. All right, I got one more housekeeping thing. There's a person not many of you know. He's an associate producer in our LA studio. And when the workload for this event became as heavy and as detailed as it was, we turned to him to help with our broadcast this weekend. And he rose up and he excelled like a champion. So I would like to formally introduce you to Dan Howbrick, who's been co-hosting the event. Dan, get on up here, man. Keep walking. Now, we've got one more presentation. That's Destination Adventure. You're gonna see more about things underground, things up in space, and things I'm gonna let Todd Pappy tell you about. And then, of course, we'll let Chris Roberts come to stage, return to stage, and close out the event proper. So this is a sign-off for me. Thank you so much for being here at CitizenCon. And on behalf of Tyler and Leah, if I may, thank you for making this event possible. And you're gonna love what you're about to see, everybody.
Hello and welcome to Destination Adventure. My name is John Griffiths. I'm the lead environment artist for EU Sandbox 2, and I'm the product owner for the distribution centers. Before we delve into, I'll put my slide on for a start. Before we delve into it, everything that you're going to see is currently in gray box, so just keep that in mind. So, these distribution centers, what are they? Well, first off, they're the biggest location we have on the ground outside of landing zones. The reason why they're so big is intentional. We wanted them to accommodate as much world and mission-based gameplay as possible. Each location supports multiple landing pads and hangars, making them accessible to as many players as possible at any one time. There's even a road network to support transit from the planet's surface, into the main building and to any berth ships. So every distribution center will be owned by a faction. Depending on the faction and where the distribution center is located on the planet will determine its specialism. Now, each specialism will lend itself to different missions and gameplay opportunities. So let's talk about some factions for a moment. So an example of a major faction would be the UEE. Now, at their distribution centers, they're likely to be more specialized towards military supply, research and development, or communications, depending on which branch of the UEE it is. They will have a much stronger military presence in the area, and missions here may be more hostile with combat-orientated, team-based raid opportunities. Other examples of hostile gameplay that we're thinking of is hacking and stealing, searching for and destroying a specific item, tracking and eliminating any VIPs, and everyone's favorite, eliminate all. Grey Cat Industrial would be an example of a minor faction. So their distribution centers will be more specialized towards gathering resources, manufacturing, assembly, shipping. There would be a security presence here, but it won't be that as strong as a major faction. Our missions here would be more suited to friendly gameplay loops, though we won't be ruling out hostile missions like corporate espionage. Yes, some other friendly gameplay types. Cargo hauling, like I said, resource gathering and mining, maintenance of the location. But you know, that's enough of me talking about it. How about we show you where we're up to with these distribution centers? Thank you. So to talk you through the corporate spaces at these locations, please welcome Rainer Rick to the stage.
Hello, hello. So my name is Rainer Rick. I'm a lead environment artist at the Montreal studio, and we've been working with John's team on the distribution centers. So John just showed how massive these locations are. He also presented the industrial sections on the ground level, and I'm here to present the administrative area of these facilities that the Montreal team has been working on. So they're located above ground, just below the tower highlighted in the picture. Inside, you'll be able to explore the corporate office space and interact with the administrative personnel. Accessible via the lifts in the hangars, and also the industrial sections we saw earlier. In addition, we've added also landing pads in front of the lobby, specifically designed for smaller ships and ideal for short stays like pickup or delivery missions. And we can't ignore the fantastic views we have from these platforms, a reminder of the vastness of these facilities. Now, let's step inside the lobby. You'll find the atrium, which is a central point of the administrative area, providing access to various locations of the corporate space. Within this space, you'll find the reception desk, and as a newcomer, you'll be expected to report here first. So here you can hand over your deliveries or pick up packages and earn reputation points with that faction. So also expect to see corporate ownership reflected through branding, color schemes, and product placement throughout the corporate hub. And with the use of overlays, we'll be able to swap these out depending on the ownership. And here's an example with Grey Cat showcasing their vehicles and some shiny armor. And back on the topic of reputation, as it grows, you can expect to gain access to the executive office spaces. From here, you'll meet with unique quest givers And depending on your reputation level, you'll receive various mission types, either friendly or hostile. And finally, the distribution centers were designed as an evolving location. We've built this with future expansion in mind. And in the back of the lobby, for example, doorways could eventually lead to additional office space. So, enough talk. Just before I show our progress so far, I want to give a big thank you to the Montreal team for their work on the administration area. Thank you. And as John mentioned, we're still in gray box phase, so just keep that in mind. But let's take a look. Thank you very much. And now let me welcome back John on stage. He's going to continue the presentation. Thanks a lot, guys.
Team did a great job with that video. Okay, so something we've been working on that's unique to this location is raids. Click on. So raids are team-based missions with a focus on high-risk, high-reward operations. As Carl mentioned previously, you'll be able to choose how you gain entry to these locations. Coming prepared and geared up will make the difference between success and failure. Ultimately, you'll need to work together in order to succeed. So these raids will have you breaching the interior of the main structure, highlighted here. Now, each interior will comprise of rooms that reflect the location's specialism. For example, a shipping-focused distribution center will have rooms dedicated to the storage of cargo. Looking to the future, we're planning on having distribution centers with subterranean levels that will be accessed from this interior space. These will expand upon and increase the difficulty of these raids. Now let's take a look at one of these raid missions in action, but please note that this is early gameplay prototype of a raid. So, as you saw in the video, the team took a more aggressive approach to getting inside and taking what they wanted. But this isn't the only approach you can use. Multiple points of egress allow you to be stealthier, and it may make it easier for you to avoid obstacles in your path. Now, reputation will also tie into these raids. Missions will have varying objectives depending on the player's reputation level, and dynamic events may also be triggered during the raid, so players will need to adapt to an evolving situation. This could range from dealing with additional security personnel to other players arriving to defend the location against you. Something else we've been prototyping is how we can utilize the multi-tool to create gameplay puzzles. Physically interacting with the environment around you changes the puzzles for everybody. With multiple add-ons for the tool available, you may have to get creative when finding a solution to the problem in front of you. In this next video, we show you how using the tractor beam attachment can open up new paths to your objective, but it's up to you to decide what path you can create with what is available. Let's watch the video. So, yes, thank you. Now, obviously, it was, this location would be possible with several people at CIG, so my thanks go to Manuel, John, Jack, Martin, Farouk, Luke, Chris, Mustafa, Sam, Tom, and Rob. You've been excellent. Thank you to Rainer and his team in Montreal. None of this would be possible without their efforts. And yeah, thanks to everybody here and online watching. Really appreciate your support. On to the next one.
Hello. This is a good segue from the distribution centers, as I'll be talking to you about different aspects of cargo and freight on behalf of art and design. My name is Nick Etheridge, and I'm an Assistant Environment Art Director. So obviously, cargo isn't just about boxes. It's a big part of the game. Almost every aspect of the game has some kind of involvement with cargo. And I'm going to briefly go through some of them now. So let's start with missions. How will hauling contracts work in-game? We'll be introducing the Interstellar Transport Guild, as well as formalizing some of the main hauling and cargo companies that you'll be working with. As you do more hauling contracts, you will build up your reputation and relationship with the guild. This will lead you to gaining more lucrative contracts for specialized cargo and destinations, such as different forms of hazardous cargo, perishable cargo, riskier routes, and more. So what do I mean by hazardous and perishable? Well, as you know, there's lots of commodities in the game, and different commodities have different properties. As you know, with events like Xenothreat, we have some special cargo types with different attributes, such as time-sensitive cargo or quantum-sensitive cargo. But those were a small selection for the event, and they were the two-handed carryable types anyway. We'll be expanding those types, plus lots more types, to the wider game and to these hauling contracts. So how does this affect gameplay? It will affect the choices you make when you are handling, storing, and traveling with the cargo. For example, with size and weight. Is it carryable? Do you need a tractor beam? What type of tractor beam do you need? Is it a handheld one or a ship tractor beam? Some containers can only be moved with ship tractor beams, for example. With health, has the container got good integrity? Is it holding fragile goods? Do you need to handle it with care? You can't just throw all containers about. For temperature control, do you need to ensure the container is powered so it can keep the contents cool? Or do you need to get to your destination quickly, otherwise the contents may perish? For security, can the container be locked or hacked? Can the contents be scanned, or is the container tracked? Will there be pirates or law after you when you're holding this container? Hazard containment. Is it radioactive? You might need the right protection against it, as you may have seen in Jens's presentation earlier. Can it explode? You might not want to put these containers on a more exposed section of your ship. And many of these attributes are going to be visually distinctive. So conversely, if you want to steal, for example, some cargo on a hull C, which does have very exposed cargo containers, you might want to avoid shooting blindly and accidentally blowing up your potential profits. So look out for those types of containers. Back to mission progression. We'll be introducing perks and rewards as part of fulfilling contracts and raising reputation with these companies. For rewards, we'll have branded ship and tool skins, branded clothing. There will be collectibles to decorate your hab, hangar, or ship, or you can put them anywhere you want. And there'll be more exclusive rewards that we'll be revealing later. Thank you. For perks, you'll get access to more items in shops and discounts on specific items. And all of these rewards and perks you need to earn in the game. You cannot just buy them. Next, let's have a look at freight elevators and hangars. I knew you'd be excited for this. I'd like to show you a short video to demonstrate how freight elevators will change how you view your hangars and how you use your hangars. No. Thank you. Thank you. So, as you can see, hangars, they will become persistent and personal, meaning you can stay there as long as you want. Whatever you leave there will persist and will be yours to use as you see fit. Your hangar won't just be a place that you leave from in your ship. It will become a key base of operations to handle your inventory and storage needs, and you'll be able to request your ships from an ASOP terminal from within the hangar itself. Location inventories won't be magic and instant anymore. This means that the freight elevators will be one of the main ways you interact with your local inventory. Items stored at the location can be requested via the elevator kiosks and will be brought up in a physicalized state to do with as you want. This would be done through a dedicated interface screen to manage large volumes of items. It won't be using the personal inventory system. The change is obviously a really big quality of life improvement to retrieving ground vehicles. No longer do you have to travel thousands or millions of kilometers to specific places in the verse to get your vehicle. You will get them straight from your hangar. You'll also be able to bring up ship components, so your hangar is now more of a maintenance bay and outfitters where you can do repairs and swap around items and things like that. So in short, persistent player hangars in combination with freight elevators will dramatically change what you can do in your hangar. It will be a home to do as you want, which has always been the dream. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And I will pass you over to Todd Pappy.
CitizenCon. Come on, I can't hear you. All right, there we go. So, we'll be talking today about something special. It's an update on something that we talked about a little while ago, but we feel it's the future of Star Citizen, and it's the culmination of multiple different game systems coming together. So why don't you play the video? All right, so base building. All right, it breaks down into two really large gameplay sections, planning ahead and prepping, and then you've got the on-site where you're actually gonna build. So with that, you need to figure out what your goal is. Is it to have a home with a nice view and relax? Is it to have a trading post where you want to create and sell items? Is it to gather resources available and move on to the next area? Or is it to be off-grid and be completely self-sufficient? So with that, with your prep and everything like that, we've got blueprints. So the recipes. Everything in the game is fabricated from a blueprint. Players acquire blueprints via reputation rewards, missions, or rare NPCs. With any blueprint, you can actually do research on it and then create different variations. With materials, ranging from the common to ultra rare, you might find them at the local shop or have to travel around the universe to collect them. Unrefined, refined, simple materials, or even complex components will all go into the fabrication. With this, then you've got location, location, location. First area is high security, so you must purchase the land. The base is actually invulnerable because of the planetary shield tech. A security will show up to protect it as well. You pay for the privilege, you're taxed. So at this point, you won't have the best resources available. You won't have access to the best resources available on the planet. If you don't pay your taxes, the shields will go away after a period of time, and the base will become derelict and will collapse. But this is low risk, low reward. Then you've got low security. So again, you must purchase the land. It's owned by an independent corp, gang, or faction. Again, you don't have access to all the best resources on the planet. The base is vulnerable. AI NPCs will show up and protect the base if it's attacked. The protection will escalate over time. Player can also build defenses to help mitigate this as well. And then it's medium reward, medium risk. Then you've got lawless. So this is no protection other than what you build. There's shields, anti-air. Players can disable the shields by getting close to them and destroying them. High risk, high reward. Since there's no taxes, no protection fees, you get a high return on the resources that you collect. Now, there's some cross-shard and server meshing considerations that will kind of adjust this design in the future, but we'll get into that later once we're really building it. So from here, you've got the tools. So this is what we would consider a surveyor. With this, we want to actually cater to everybody's playstyle, whether you're solo or in an org. With this, you've got different buildings that you can produce, from small, medium to large to XL or XL. So with the surveyor tool, you can only build the small buildings. With a vehicle, you can build small and medium-sized buildings. With the Galaxy, you can build small to large structures. And then obviously with the Pioneer, Pioneer can do it all, and it still works as a mobile base, and we'll talk about some of the more expanded features that we're adding to it in later on. So, and then it's also, we're exploring what can be done in space, not just on the planet. So from here, you set off on your journey. So with the land claim, you put your tool down where you want, you launch the drone, that is built into the machine, and then from there, this allows the player to access the base building and also land claim mode. With the land claim modes, the player can actually change the size and position of what area they want to claim, and it also shows you the cost and taxes associated with it. If it's in a taxable zone and you don't own the land, this interface will default to it. So if you own the land or it's in a lawless area, it'll automatically go to base building mode. So with the overhead view of the land, you can actually place down buildings exactly where you want. You can see the resources beneath the surface, and then you can also place multiple buildings before you actually build. So you can see how it will all kind of come together. You'll see the resources that are needed for it, and then you can also switch back and forth between different modes, which are showing off the resource network and how you link basically power generators to consumers. And then the player can move or deconstruct existing buildings right now with no charge. Fabrication. So when you basically build these buildings, they don't come with any furnishings. And if you didn't bring any with you, then you want to build a fabricator. So depending on what you want to build, there's different sizes of them that support buildings from decorations, armor, weapons, components, and even ships. So like base building mode, you need blueprints, resources to craft what you want. Everything fabricated is produced from it produces a physicalized entity. Stats and quality will depend on the quality of the materials actually used. Once you've done that and you've built your decorations, now you can actually fill the room the way that you want to fill it. So furnishings can be purchased at different locations, or they can actually be fabricated. You can do that via first person or in a dedicated mode in the Surveyor's tool. With that, you've got different types of buildings. So you've got utility style, which would be garages, freight elevators, landing pads, storefronts. And then you've got extractors. So with extractors, we want to make sure that nothing in regards to resource gathering is fully automated. A level of player engagement is always needed. So as Nick talked about before, there are different types of commodities, radioactive, perishable, etc. What you'll be doing is pulling out full containers. Then from there, it'll be repairing, or there's wear and tear associated with it, or even misfires like you saw in Thorsten's talk and Guillermo's talk yesterday. There's also upgrade paths for making them more efficient or resilient. Power generators. So with different types of power generators, there'll be some that are more cost-effective as well as effective in different areas. Solar panels will not always work in darkness. Fuel generators will need to be filled up every now and then batteries to store excess power. Then you've got producers. So things that will require the players to combine different resources to produce new items. And then you've got defense. So anti-air, anti-personnel, and then shield generators. And then the big one. We start development Q1. So that's me. Thank you all. Thank you for coming. It's wonderful to see you.
Hello. Hey, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed everything you've seen in these last 2 days. We were really excited to show you a lot of it. And I've sort of seen some online comments about, okay, well, that's very cool, but when are we going to get it in the game? But one of the real reasons why we wanted to show you this CitizenCon is because we've hit an inflection point on a lot of the features, as in they're either finished or they're in polishing stage, which is why we're showing them. So everything that we've been showing you here at CitizenCon is our intention, not making 100% promise, just so everyone remembers that, to get them into Star Citizen through next year. So it's not going to be gated on having to be after Squadron 42. So we are. So we're planning over the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 of next year. Hopefully everything that we've shown you, you will have in your hands playing inside Star Citizen. So, and it's very gratifying for the team and myself to finally be able to show you a lot of this. One of the advantages of being able to go and iterate on these features in Squadron was that we were able to do it without having to release every 3 months and make sure the old system worked while the new system was working, so we could actually really polish the features, which I hope you could see when we showed you the updated UI stuff, the updated FPS stuff, the updated flight stuff, the character stuff, which is something we're very proud of because this is, after all, an MMO. You want to have as much freedom to create the character you want to create. So, as you may have guessed, and Brian Chambers may have let slip a bit earlier, we are feature complete on Squadron 42. You will not get a release date from me today because, first of all, you always get very angry at me when I give dates. It will be when I know that we're fully about ready to print the Gold Masters, but it won't be just yet. But we prepared, the Squadron 42 team prepared a small video for you. I may be lying, it's a bit bigger than small. To give you a glimpse of everything we've been working on and what the gameplay looks and feels like. So let's roll that.
Archangel 6, come in.
Go for 6.
I'm getting a faint contact on bearing 287. You picking that up?
Yeah, got it. Scanning now. We're clear. Commercial vessel out of Vega 3. Provided that civilian traffic is restricted under lockdown.
Copy that.
Archangel. Archangel, this is Krugeri.
Come back, Krugeri.
Redirect to sector 7 Bravo Echo for immediate tasking.
Copy that. On our way.
I know I just wrote you, but a couple of hours ago, proximity sensors on the
other side of the jump got twigged. Word is it might be that clan we've been battling with. I guess that last fight didn't scare them
off
off.
quite like we all hoped it would. Honestly, we've been out here so long, I don't know what to
Pull for anymore. I just wanted to let you know.
I'll write as soon as I can. Stay safe. Your loving son.
Never gets old, does it?
Sir.
Eddies. I used to do the same thing when I was first coming up. Post up to the flight deck whenever I could to watch the launches. Have you seen the F-8s up close?
No, sir.
The thing's a beast. Nimble, too.
12 maneuvering thrusters and 3 mains. It sure sounds like it. Sir.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
Yes, sir.
Keep your head up. Took me a couple times before I got in.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to Cloud Imperium Games Manchester Studio. I'm Chris Roberts, and I'm pleased to announce we have just passed a major milestone. Squadron 42 is now feature complete and has entered its polish phase. To celebrate this milestone, we've gathered some of our core leadership together to share what this means.
As Chris says, we've moved into the polish phase of Squadron 42, which means extra emphasis on ensuring things feel fun. This means focusing on the small and large elements of the game, such as dialing in combat encounters, but also looking at the feel of how you control your character or vehicle and making sure it's immersive as possible. We've paid extra attention to how your character reacts when in their ship, so that you feel like an actual pilot, whether that's firing your weapons, taking hits, or punching the afterburners to get to cover. Ship AI has also seen huge improvements, with closer engagement distances and more varied behaviors. And with our new precision targeting mode, the action has never been as close. With the aim now on polish, we've organized the project into self-sufficient strike teams, so we can focus on individual areas to deliver the best experience.
Get out of sight. The Cutlass is going to spot you.
This allows us to bring all disciplines together with a unified vision of enhancing the gameplay by seamlessly blending it with polished visuals, final cinematic performances, and our ever-improving technology.
You didn't see the boat, kid. You're good to keep going.
We're also dialing in gameplay features, such as the ship flight model for both atmosphere and space, which covers master modes, control surfaces, and our gold standard HUD and MFDs. Our interaction system for both the world and your character have also seen additional improvements, allowing us to hone and craft environmental puzzles unique to each location, while allowing us to tell the story of the world around you. The military multi-tool is an essential piece of equipment for every pilot that integrates all attachments into a single handheld device and allows us to create really interesting challenges, including physics-based puzzles using our updated rope tech.
Unidentified vessels, this is the UEE Navy. Power down your ships and stand by for processing. There you go. F*** off. The coil's ass.
Our scanning, targeting, and marker system has also seen an overhaul, allowing us to highlight only the essential information that you need, such as key objectives, mission targets, and high-level scan information, while keeping your overall view as clean as possible.
Damn skank! Take him off me! No!
Tactical FPS combat and stealth, which has seen a suite of improvements, from improved looting, weapon feel and balance, realistic scopes, and smoother locomotion, alongside our new and improved FPS radar and scanner that provides you an overview of the battlefield, but at the cost of ramping up your own emissions. We've also seen the introduction of our Maelstrom-powered destructible environment, which adds a layer of dynamism to the experience alongside our improved AI that can now have hundreds of combinations of traits that allow us to create unique and challenging combat encounters that really push your tactical awareness and skill. We play and review the builds regularly and call out action points in each level from start to finish on where we need to improve the gameplay. This is an incredibly rewarding stage of development for me and the team, as the ultimate vision of the game is realized, allowing us to craft an experience that we can be really proud of. One specific area that I'm excited to dial in is the feeling of the player interacting with the world around them.
Patching you in.
As it's a core component of Squadron and really grounds the world that you inhabit. We've made sure that any interaction in the environment is physically represented by a character animation to keep you in the moment and fully immerse you in the experience that we've created. Ultimately, this is the final phase of gameplay iteration before we fully transition into optimization and stability on the road to release.
Agent Trejo, this is Colton. Come back. Always trips me out to see terraforming setups like this. Web Pride explaining how atmosphere processors work. Really shows how far we've come. What the hell is she?
With the transition of Squadron to polish phase, we've had the opportunity to find additional moments within the existing narrative to add subtle interactions where appropriate. It's been tremendously exciting to play through these areas and find places to augment the mood, support gameplay, and further embellish our story and characters.
So yeah, man, I can't believe it. They said I've got to wait another 2 years before I can reapply. So that's why I figured I'd get a job trying in security, because that's, you know, I can get some hours flying in the cockpit and whatnot. Can't hurt, right? Exactly.
We've also been capturing pickups for our lead female player character, as well as wildlines for our various enemies that you all will encounter throughout the game on both foot and in your cockpit. These consist of a range of responses and reactions that you as the player can trigger, which has been the culmination of efforts by the gameplay and AI teams. This means that you're going to have to tangle with some very smart and reactive bad guys to complete your mission.
At the heart of this immersive adventure, you'll find cutting-edge cinematic storytelling, thoughtfully crafted to fully immerse you into your story.
We fight today. So in 40 years from now, when you're surrounded by everything and everyone you hold dear, and they ask, what did you do in the Battle of Vega? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line. Men and women of the Second Fleet, I am proud to stand with you today. Good luck. Push about.
Nice speech.
Any word from the recon team?
Not yet.
Let's get into position.
Throughout the polish phase, our team is taking every opportunity to push things to the next level.
Tell me you're expecting company? This is not good.
The Cine team is focused on finalizing edit lock on all of our big action as well as all smaller character sequences.
I could have pulled this off at the Galactopedia.
Yeah, probably, but I think their solar mass calculations are wrong, though.
Well, this is ridiculous.
How so?
We are now able to adjust our shot composition to final cameras thanks to recently crafted space vistas and level art being content complete now.
It'd be nice to know how much of a shitstorm we're flying into.
More like a hellstorm, Blue. One you ain't gonna fly out of.
Shut up.
Now, I hadn't seen another ship that wasn't trying to kill me in days, let alone a hauler, let alone a Jean. So you can imagine my surprise.
Detailed lighting passes can be done on hero sequences so we can show our cast and convey their emotions in the best light possible. And we're making sure our cinematics are triggering as fluid as we can craft them so they form a coherent concerto with the rest of the player's narrative experience.
Mr. Wexler, this is Lieutenant Commander Colton.
Oh, Commander, hey, Julian Wexler. I'm the field manager of this little operation. Welcome aboard the Archon. What brings the Navy to this little corner of the universe?
We got you flying with Lieutenant Commander Colton. He's one of our best.
As others will share, this is the most rewarding chapter of development, which allows us to truly experience the visceral and oftentimes emotional moments that our narrative provides.
How did you handle it after Vega?
I'm not sure I handled anything. It helps to remember that stuff like this is supposed to hurt.
I've never been good at dealing with problems I can't fix.
Well, this is one that you don't have to do alone.
That's good to know.
For the animation teams, polish phase means refining the social aspects of Squadron 42 that occur between the various missions and getting the behaviors implemented across all of its chapters. Here we're dialing in the hangar to make it as immersive and believable an experience as possible.
That'll do it. Done.
Okay, all right.
Pardon me. Let's do this. I have to switch out so we can interchange from the hangar deck. We're getting a weird after. Turning out to be another stuff.
Yeah, I feel that. Anyway,
for example, we're launching off a space carrier, but we still ground the feel in real-world actions, refueling, repairing, and inspecting, and making sure that your next flight mission is a success. This means we're looking out for pops, hiccups, or awkward transitions, and ensuring that everything flows and looks like all the great mocap performances we've captured.
Let's ready some extra ice packs out of storage. Whenever gunners are on full rotation, you can always count on at least one of them getting hurt.
We also have you covered in everyday life. The medical staff work diligently for their patients, whether they're players or crew. We really want you to feel part of an authentic crew, an important part of the UEE Navy in an enormous universe of people going about their everyday lives.
Let's go ahead and clear for takeoff. Ground crew, prep bay for takeoff.
Copy that.
Hangar, ready for launch. Takeoff approved, Baron 2. You have the ball.
Ready and hold on as you're launched off the deck of the carrier.
Baron 2, you are cleared for launch. Have a safe flight, Baron 2.
We want you to not only decide how you play the game, but to feel as if the people you interact with are in that world with you.
I would have never thought a shotgun could be so pretty. Damn, this R97 is sleek as hell. Like a lot of other weapons in Gemini's arsenal, it has a higher rate of fire than most guns of its type.
We're working to support a feel of authenticity through world traversals, running, jumping, and climbing, interactions with objects and the environment, solid weapon gameplay and enemy reactions, as well as combat realities, such as weapon malfunctions. Or in close encounters of the more lethal kind. Ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning. As we continue to focus on the quality experience, we've been working closely with our art teams, and it's been exciting to see their environments come to life alongside us.
While animation and design have been populating the locations, polish phase for my teams means making huge advancements in the quality of our characters and environments. We've established our standard with recognizable characters like Mark Hamill, Gillian Anderson, and Gary Oldman, and we're now applying this to the rest of the cast and identifying any remaining tech requirements that need to be closed out. The story of Squadron 42 takes you through a variety of diverse locations of varying scales and styles. We shared glimpses of several environments before, and there's still plenty out there for you to discover. One of the main challenges the art team has had to face during the development of Squadron 42 is ensuring the visuals are complementary to the narrative of the script. The mood and feeling of a space is just as important to us as it is making sure we hit the visual quality that CIG has become known for.
No good, we can't hack it from this side. Graves, we got a locked door. Can you give us access?
No, I'm afraid that's a negative, Steve. I would have to add you to our system to give you override permissions, and there's a lot involved in that. It won't happen quickly.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Everything you see during the campaign has been heavily inspired by the classics of 70s and 80s sci-fi, but with a modern twist. We want everything you see to feel like it has a soul, its own personality, and tells of a history long before you arrived. Crafting interesting flight spaces and their connecting tissue has been one of the more unique challenges we've needed to overcome for Squadron. Developing our VDB tech to blend seamlessly between tighter traversal spaces and into wider space vistas and planets has proved incredibly difficult but rewarding, ensuring that Squadron flows seamlessly from one chapter to the next, without interruption. Creating a diverse array of locations is essential to us. Our environments need to work from a variety of scales. We need to pay close attention to detail, whether we're working in a dirty engineering vent or navigating the debris of a dying star, wondering what may be around that next corner, or even who may live there, how would they have survived, and what state of mind may they be in. We've worked closely with our social teams in delivering a cohesive social experience when you're taking some downtime from our refined flight and FPS missions, or even missions of the more eerie kind. We'll be introducing new space stations on a massive scale, all brought together and designed to be as tangible as possible. We've thought about their function, their age, and tried to ensure there's a progression in artistic style with each station as you progress through the game. As you can see today, the teams are working incredibly hard, ramping up the detail and quality to match the breadth of our vision for Squadron 42.
Now, I know you're all asking, when can I play it?
When can I play it?
When we have the locked release date, you will be the first to know. Now, we're in polishing phase on Squadron 42. You will start to see a lot more things coming to Star Citizen, as well as overall progress on the persistent universe. The polish phase can take some time. We have come this far, and we want to make sure Squadron 42 delivers on the promise of being this generation's wing commander. Now, even though there's only a few of us in this video, I'd like to extend a big thank you to all our staff around the globe who've been putting their heart and soul into bringing Squadron 42 to life. And I would like to thank everyone in the community for your patience and your support. To paraphrase Admiral Bishop, when people ask, what did you do in the development of Squadron 42? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line. I'm proud to stand with you. Thank you for making this game with us. You're making me very emotional now. Thank you so much. It's been definitely a long time coming. We're, as you can see on that video, that's Squadron 42 gameplay. So we are really dialing it in and polishing it, and we're really proud of what it is. I mean, anyway, I think it's going to be something I'm very, very proud of. So I can't wait for you guys to play it in the, I'm not going to say when, but anyway. And anyway, we kind of spent the time to craft something that's that beautiful with as much attention to detail and love without your guys' support, just like we couldn't be building the universe of Star Citizen without your guys' support. So I am, on my side, incredibly grateful, as is everybody at CIG, for your continued support, because we're building, I mean, a universe of dreams and stories of dreams, and it's a really wonderful thing to be able to do as a creative. So thank you, everyone here, and everyone watching, and everyone that supports Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So thank you guys very, very much. And then I'd like to call out everyone that's put the show together here. It's been an amazing job. Tyler Whitcomb headed up, but there's a lot of other people. I mean, obviously Jared's been doing his great job emceeing. Leah has been organizing the show, and there's 1,000 other people that are part of our community and marketing side that have been doing it. There's been volunteers that have been helping to do this. the companies that we've had, like Envision, have put the video and stuff all together. So everyone's done an amazing job of the show. So thank you to everyone, and sorry if I didn't call everyone out by name, because there'd be a lot of names, so I had to call them out. But putting all that together, and thank you to all the devs that worked really hard to put the presentations together for you guys, because I think you could feel that they really love what they do, and they're very passionate about what they do, and they're really excited to get it into your guys' hands. So anyway, with that, I think I would say thank you, everyone. I'm really excited about what we've got upcoming in the future, because a lot of the foundational tech, the persistent entity streaming, and you saw server meshing earlier on yesterday, enables a lot of the stuff that's going to come to the PU, like the base building and the persistent hangars. So I am incredibly excited by 24 and beyond. And anyway, thank you guys for supporting. I will see you in the verse. And thank you so much for coming out to share this with us. Bye.